Welcome back to the WWE 2K25 Showcase Bloodline Dynasty. This week, Samoans and Dudleys. Heyman, take it away, my friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, if it weren't for the next two superstars in our showcase, none of this would be possible. Because without Afa and Sika, without the Wild Samons, there truly is no dynasty. While it was their father who made the blood oath with High Chief Peter Maivia, it was Afa and Sika who built the family up, training generations of relatives, all with the single goal of becoming the best professional wrestler on the face of the planet. And while the two would together be WWE Hall of Famers, based solely on their work as trainers and cultivators of the next generation, their in-ring successes only add to their immortality. Afa and Sika formed WWE's most dominant tag team of the early 1980s, fighting their way to the WWE Tag Team Championship on 3 separate occasions. Opponents were often defeated before the bell even rang to start the match, falling victim to the aura and the intimidation factor of having to step into the ring with the Wild Samoans, accompanied by Captain Lou Albano. The trio formed a masterful group that was able to take all opponents off their game, be it through Albano's devious schemes or the overpowering nature of the Wild Samoans. WWE had never dealt with a team so primal, turning each match into a battle of survival. Most feared, the deadly Samoan drop, a move that has been imitated by many, but duplicated only by a chosen few.
There they are, the Wild Samoans.
These are immigrants coming from the island, trying to figure it out, trying to find a way. I couldn't imagine being these men. I couldn't imagine taking on these responsibilities of setting the tone in a whole new country. And then trying to break into entertainment on top of that. But they made it work. And that's what we are. We're workers. We make it work.
These tribal elders set the standard for all of their descendants to not only follow, but they also taught their descendants how to surpass it. So beloved were the two that perhaps no moment holds more significance to your tribal chief, Roman Reigns, than when he was presented the Ula Fala by his father Sika and Uncle Afa after the 2020 Hell in a Cell event. You see, it was their acknowledgement that gave Roman Reigns the unshakable confidence to continue his journey to becoming the greatest of all time.
The utmost respect, love, and gratitude for those men. Because if my father and uncle don't do what they do, we're not here.
We now humbly present to you the honor of walking in the famed footsteps of the Wild Samoans, finding a tag team in WWE's long and storied history that we felt would test the Wild Samoans was not an easy task. But then a thought came to your wise man. Why not give the audience exactly what they want? Why not put the Wild Samoans against one of the greatest tag teams of all time? Why not present Afa Sika the Wild Samons versus Bubba Ray and Devon, the Dudley Boyz. And if we're going to go that far, let's do it in a tables match. Showcase that savage brutality that made both teams the eternal legends we know them to be. No pinfalls, no submissions, no rules. Just be the team that avoids being put through the table, and you will emerge victorious. And with these four men, you better believe that things are going to get extreme.
As always, Paul Heyman, thank you for the wonderful introduction of the Wild Samoans, but you neglected to mention your boys. I mean, you mentioned them, but you didn't go in that much detail, which is what I now have to do. Bubba Ray and Devon Dudley. Obviously, I have no true professional at that. Forget that. Dudley Boyz, one of the most decorated tag teams in the world. One of the pioneers, not pioneers, but a revivaling. One of the pioneer teams that revived the tag division in the Attitude Era alongside the Hardys and Education with the great TLC matches. That everyone always goes to the one at WrestleMania 17, and I will agree that is a good one. And that kind of spun onto its own match eventually for a while in WWE with its own pay-per-view event. But now they dropped the gimmick pay-per-views were named after a match or two, which I'm actually kind of glad, because of me, if you're going to name a pay-per-view after a special match type, all the matches will be that match type. Say TNA Lockdown pay-per-views, where every match was in the steel cage and they just worked around the steel cage. Because you have a great escape match where you throw in 4 X Division guys and it was usually 4 of them. Pinfall or submission would eliminate you, and your final 2 combatants, first one to escape the cage, would win. Odd, yes. But you also gotta remember it's early TNA, and TNA was doing anything they could do to be different. Excited rings, younger talent as opposed to older talent, and working with other promotions, not working with other promotions. We're picking up all the guys that WWE didn't want, like for a while they had they have the Hardys now, but the Hardys were there for a long time. Kurt Angle was there for a while, and Drew McIntyre was there for a while. He was Drew Galloway. Bobby Lashley was there as just Lashley, so a good handful of guys who are in WWE spent some time in TNA. Wesley as well, certainly on the roster, spent some time in TNA. So they were like a lot of younger guys on their way up, maybe trying to get to WWE. You also had guys who had been in WWE and been released, were working their way back. Like Jeff Hardy early on in his TNA run, trying to get his way back in. But yeah. So the Dudleys, 9-time WWE Tag Team Champions. In addition to that, they have, this is an 8-time, so 9-time WWE Tag Team Champion, 1-time WCW Tag Team Champion. However, that was under the WWE banner while in the Invasion. 8-time ECW Tag Team Champion. 2-time IWGP Tag Team Champion. For those who want to be super specific, yes, it was the heavyweight division. But they are one AEW Tag Team Championship away from winning just about every major Tag Team Championship in the world. They'll never get it because, I think realistically, if Bubba Ray, technically, would be in AEW, I don't think he'd have creative control. I think he'd want to be more of a coaching, mentor role, trying to teach them, hey, you don't need 200 super kicks in your match. You need one if it's a finishing move. If it's a signature move, you still don't need 200 of them. You need maybe 2 at most. So I think that's going to be the big issue. That's why they're not in there. And Devon's just, his body is just, nope. Yeah, his body, I think if he took one wrong bump, he'd be like, yep, I'm done. I'm done. Just calling it quits, so we're not going to do that. So, but, it's kind of one of those weird Easter stuff. Oh yeah, they also did hold the NWA Tag Team Championships while the NWA was in the alliance with TNA. And another cool thing is they were the first. Oh, I lost. Oh, inconveniently placed tables. Fun. Anywho, those were the first ever TNA Tag Team Champions. Pretty much because they had the NWA belt. NWA dropped TNA from their partnership, or from their group of territories, and made them return all the belts. So, kind of in an interview, they're like, yeah, since they had the TNA Tag Team Championship, they're going to be the inaugural. Since they had the championship we were using, they're going to be the first ever company championship. Company champion. Which, to me, it makes the most sense rather than, alright, let's scramble together and make a whole tournament. It's like, alright, you're the champ. Before we lost the partnership, you're going to be the champion now. That makes life a lot easier. And it's just going to keep the ball rolling so they don't have to do any massive pivots and restarts in any storyline. But that's kind of what they're doing. But during their time in ECW, the Dudleys were surrounded by a group of other Dudleys. You had, most notably, the best one. Not the best one, I would say, but the one that got the most out of it. Kind of like, I guess the kind of way it's like, oh, these two brothers got famous, but then there's the forgotten third brother that gets famous. Yeah, that was Spike. So you had little Spike Dudley, which, there's a little joke in there. If you can pick up on that. So yeah, you had little Spike Dudley with his finish of the acid drop, and he was a giant killer, where he would take on guys like the Samoans and win. Those matches were always, they were kind of funny to watch. I watched them all on Peacock. I wasn't alive. I was alive at the tail end of ECW and not watching professional wrestling at that time, because I couldn't pass. Well, I was when ECW was originally. I did see the WWE revival. That was a thing. That was a thing that there's plenty of content creators on here that are going to do in depth on why it failed, why it might have worked, why it didn't work. Let's just go with everyone involved in the project wanted something different from the project. And the problem is, what Vince wants, Vince got. So that's how we're going to leave it at that. But I know, from what I know, Vince wanted one thing, Heyman wanted another thing, and Shane McMahon wanted another thing. All three of them wanted something different for the product, and it just kind of became an unorganized, disassociated mess. But what can we say here about that? Absolutely nothing. Well, no. Other numbers of the Dudley Boyz. Really funny though, if you want. You can look up Dudley Boyz moments in ECW. They are phenomenal just because, especially in ECW, and a lot of their jokes and content were not fly today. Today being 2025, with crude humor and a lot of it. Granted, a lot of stuff from the Attitude Era wouldn't fly today, even if people want it back. So that's where I'm stuck with that. But no, onto the Samoans. We just busted Bubba Ray open. Onto the Samoans. Heyman mentioned they were 3-time WWE Tag Champs. They were. That is a fact. They also held 17 other Tag Team Championships in multiple different territories. But it's kind of one of those things. WWE at the time, and to an extent today, don't really acknowledge stuff that happened outside of WWE. they're more open to it now, commenting on various other championships that they've had. Like they may mention, like, oh yeah, Sami Zayn's the former world champion, and he's only held the world championship in Ring of Honor, but he wasn't Sami Zayn. He was El Generico. So they kind of allude to certain things without explicitly stating. So like, if you know that happened, then you know what they're talking about. But if you don't, they're just gonna go in one ear out the other and go, oh, okay, I didn't know he won a world title, or maybe, oh, that was his NXT title reign. So that's kind of what they do with it. So yeah. But yeah, most of their titles were in like territories, which is always kind of cool, holding like the quote-unquote independent title, because they're not acknowledged. It's just, most people don't think about them because it's like, it's just an independent title, but at the same time, you never know where holding that independent title may go. There's a guy, I don't think he's signed to, I know he's not signed to any major company. I'd have to actually look at it up in a moment if he is, but his biggest issue is he's kind of on the smaller side. The guy I'm thinking of is Ariel Domingo, little wrestler from the Kissimmee area. Well, this is done. But yeah. Ariel Dominguez, TNA, look at him, sign him, fly around the ring, X Division star, calling it now. But that's going to do it for this episode. Sunday, we'll be on for the next part of Sonic Colors, which is going to be about number 14. And with that, we should be almost done with that project within the next few weeks. And then it'll probably go this double time to try and get through a couple more stuff of content that I want to see. So this would go up, once Sonic Colors ends, this would go up like